Hi everyone, it's Paul here from Interact Software. We're going to go through the job costing module that we've created for Odoo. We've got it in version 17 now, so I just thought I'd go through and refresh what we've gone through before with our version 15 video that we've done recently. So I won't go through the how to set it up. This is more just an introduction to what it does and how it works once you've set it up, but I will go through another video later in terms of how to set it up, because things are a little bit different in version 17 of Odoo. So I've got the icon here, and as you see, it's gone straight into my jobs. So the idea here is that you would see the jobs that are assigned to you, or you got some sort of relation to, but you've got an option to do all jobs as well. So if there are jobs that aren't related to you, but you still need to access them, you can get them from there as well. So one of the main things that we do in our job costing is we've got the idea that we've got a parent job, and then the child jobs, or the jobs without any child relationship to them. So the logic is there. It can be like a sub job or a phase of work. It doesn't really matter what you do, but each job can be assigned to a particular estimate, and each of those estimates can become a budget for that particular phase of work or sub job. So in my example here, I've got a Campsie townhouse at 13 Ridges Road, and I've got different phases of that work that need to be done there. But you'll see that the Campsie townhouse is a job by itself as well. So that's the master job or the parent job, and then that parent job is assigned to these child jobs. Now you can call these whatever you want, really. So if I come into that particular job there, you can see that under the sub jobs for that job, you've got all those jobs, and they're jobs by themselves as well. So you can just run them as the job costing just from the sub job or the phase themselves, but normally they're grouped together, and you see them all the data related to the master job or the parent job. So if you look at the financials here, you'd see the budget, the actuals, and the variance related to all the sub-jobs that the parent job relates to. Okay, so coming back to our list of jobs, just come back up to the jobs. Okay, so we've got in the individual sub-jobs, which are, as I said, the jobs by themselves here. Now, if you don't want to see all the sub-jobs and you just want to see the parent jobs, you have got this button up here. And again, it's my parent jobs or all parent jobs, so you can just see those ones that are parent jobs. So a parent job essentially is any job that doesn't have its own parent job to it. So it's the top level of the job. So again, you see that Campsie townhouse there. Underneath the job estimating here, you see all the estimates that have been created, and whether they've been converted to budget or not. This one's just sitting as draft. These ones have been converted to budget, and then from underneath that you'd see all the components for that particular estimate. So you can have multiple estimates per job, and you can then decide which one you're going to go ahead with, or possibly multiple. If there's variations to the original estimate, you can put them through as another part of the job to put it through as a variation. But if we just pick up one of these, and we can have a look, and that firstly just gives you a summary of the costs in the cell and the expected profit. But along here is the labor, materials, subbies, machines, sundry, and then just a full description if you're wanting to have some sort of description that goes on the quote once you've quoted it. You do have these settings options here, and the settings allows you to set up either a markup related to a cost group, the cost groups being labor, materials, subbies, machines, that sort of thing, and you can either use the price list by default, so what's set up in the stock master file or the product master file, or you can use a default markup, or overwrite the default markup that we've got in the setup. So when you're putting in your lines, you can see this one's marked as I've entered by the sell price, so I've entered in a value here, $90, and it's calculated backwards to work out the markup. and you can see here enter sell prices is marked as was true, and so that's what it will come to. But quite often you'll be entering the costs, adding on a markup, and it will calculate the sell price from that. So that's the toggle between those two methods of data entry when you're keying in your estimates. Most people these days would be putting cost plus markup and then calculating the sell from there. So coming back to here, so as I mentioned, you've got the settings. You can overwrite those defaults. Now those defaults are set up under the configuration here, and you can see the cost group codes up here, and you can set a default globally for these cost groups. So these are the different cost groups that we set up. You can set up more if you want, but they have to be related to a particular category, being one of those main 5 categories that we've got for cost items. So you can see, for instance, sundries there twice, but one's contingency and one's sundry, and we have different markups for each. So when you set up your products, you'll be able to define which cost group it relates to, and therefore which default markup will come through. But again, as I mentioned, you can overwrite that when you are looking at your jobs or you're looking at your estimates, and you can either do that there, or you can add in, for instance, under here, that labor is going to be not the normal 20%, we're going to make it 42%. Okay, so when I go and add my labor line in, you can see, actually I've got it marked as like that. Add my labor line in, that's now not ticked. So when I put something in, so I've just got a one called labor, you can see that it's got the 42% coming through. Times that by the $60 here. We'll make it 100 just to make it a bit easy to see. You can see the 142 is the unit cell, and that's how it calculates. So you can just overwrite each line by itself. So if you decide no, that needs to be 150, you can do that, and it then calculates backwards to calculate that markup from there. So that's a nice little toggle, doing by line, and when you set this here, that's the default for that particular your data entry at the moment. So at the moment, no, I'm not going to be entering the sell prices. I'm going to be entering by markup, and then when you add your line in, it will do it like this. Now you can change this again, so it is just a default. You can make it anything you like. It doesn't really matter. It will save into what position, but the main toggle here is this little flag to say I'm going to enter the sell price, or I'm going to enter the markup. So if it's not the sell price, it's the markup. So once you build up your budget like that, you can force save like that if you like, but with version 17 you can just escape out. We'll come back to the estimates. Okay, so we've increased those estimates there. We've also got the transactions, being purchase orders, bills, and timesheets. That will go to your actuals for your jobs. And then under your products, as I mentioned before, each of these products here will have a new field here that defines, okay, well, this particular one's a material item. That's the category it's going to go to. And so when it connects up, it will connect up to those material groups. And that's quite important in the setup. As I mentioned, we'll go through that later. But yeah, you should change all your existing products and define which cost group they relate to. You can do an export function and import in the cost group. That's the easiest way to do it. Majority of your items, if they're storable products, will be materials, and then you'll have all your non-storable items or your service items that will be maybe something else, subby or sundry or machine costs or whatever you want to break it down to. Okay, let's just come back to the jobs. We've sort of gone on a little bit of a track here. So if we come back to the jobs menu, I'll just get to it here. Okay, and parent jobs maybe. Go to that my parent jobs, and we go to the Campsie Townhouse again. Okay, so one thing, as I mentioned before, you've got your summary of all your sub-jobs, and if you had, which you would normally have for a parent job, you probably wouldn't have estimates or multiple estimates for that parent job, because normally you break it down by the sub-jobs. So if I click on one of these, open one of those up, you can see that I've got an estimate for that particular sub-job, and then that's broken down into my expected costs and sell for that. So under each job though, and this is, as is mentioned, this is a job as well, it is a sub-job for the Campsie Townhouse as their master parent job. You've got the breakdown of what timesheets or stock issues or subbies costs, all these sort of costs have been incurred. You've also got documents there if you want to store any images or plans or anything like that. So it does have quite a bit in here that you can connect up. You can just see financials just related to that particular phase of work or the sub job. So you can click on that and get to that, but you've got the global summary for the actual master job itself. So one of the things that you'll do when you're using the system here is, once you've defined, and we haven't defined it all for all the different cost groups, sorry, all the different sub jobs here, but once we do, we could create a quotation, and that will then be able to create a quotation in multiple different ways. We've got itemized, detailed, and summary. So the itemized is a complete breakdown of all the components and all the costs within all the sub jobs underneath that master job or the parent job. Then you've got the detailed version, which is the same again, but it summarizes it by the cost groups. So if you had, for instance, 4 different labor items or 10 different material items, it would summarize that particular item into one item for your quotation. And then the summarize is just the total. So ignore the all the sub jobs and just give you a grand total of, okay, for the complete job, this is the value. So it will depend on your customer and what they're expecting in terms of how you want to break up your price. They might expect you to have detailed, or they might just have the summarized version. So once you've done create and view, and you can untick and tick here. So if you had multiple versions, it will save this option of to quote for next time. So I'll just leave it like this for now. Create the quotation and view, and that's what it's done. So you can see it's got my different sub jobs, electrical. It's mentioning the version number as well of the estimate that it relates to, and then it's got the components underneath that. So that's the itemized one. And if we go to preview, same sort of thing will pop up. It's just the print preview version. I'll just go back into the job costing. And yeah, so there's all the jobs. So that's the main thing I really wanted to show. I will go through other videos later when we talk about the transactions a bit more, talk about how the timesheets connect up and how we use projects there to be able to search for the jobs in the database. So that we have a bit of a relationship to the projects there. Every time you create a job, it will create a project as well. So all the functionality that projects have for Odoo, we can use that related to the jobs that we create under the job costing here. Okay, well hopefully that explains a bit and then gives you a bit of an idea of what this module does. If you've got any questions, you can email us at support@interact.com.au and we hopefully can answer your question quickly. Okay, have a great day and speak to you later. Bye.
We are an Odoo partner and have been installing ERP packages since 1983. Mainly our Australian-made package Interact software, which has a ton of great features, quite similar to Odoo. We've been helping clients personalize and install Odoo since 2020. We pride ourselves on our customer relationships and getting to know exactly what benefits their businesses. You can contact us via our website or toll-free number 1300 66 2626. We hope to hear from you soon.